Welcome to Women Investing in Women. I am so excited to have another conversation. Robin and I cannot wait for you to meet our guest today. The reason we are doing Women Investing in Women, it is about time we as a tribe, we as a global sisterhood start lifting each other up so that our quiet strength allows us to come up to the surface and shine. And as we shine the light for all the other women to find their place and shine. The image that comes to my mind is when there is one light out in the dark, it's just one light. But imagine if all the lights were light up, it's almost like a runway, a plane can land, right? So what would it take if we got all the women, the way they're investing in each other, the way they are supporting each other, and the way they are lifting each other up, creates a runway room for every woman to take off, to live her purpose and land on her dream. That is what we are trying to accomplish here. And we are so excited to feature women who are already on this journey to be role models to help other women help each other shine.
Beautifully said. And I am so excited about this show because, as Cass said, we really want to focus on the whole notion of women helping women. I know that sometimes there's a stereotype of women not being willing to help other women, and we want to totally bust that stereotype that women do help other women. There's a great sisterhood across the world, and everyone has different strengths. Everyone has different personalities. And by coming together, we can unify. And not only are we going to have women who are already helping women, we're going to also have younger women or even older women come on and talk about how they have been helped by mentors in their life. So it's going to be full circle all the way around. And I'm just excited for the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin. So today we are going to have this beautiful, amazing soul who is my media partner and dear friend, who is part of my support system, Maureen Ryan-Blake. Welcome. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. It is wonderful to be here. And Kaz, I'm always up for hanging out with you. And Robin, it's good to see you.
Good to see
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. You know, research shows that the quality of life for a woman is directly correlated to the tightness and the supportive nature of her tribe and her sisterhood. And I know this to be true because as I'm going through my life challenges and health challenges of family members, all of you ladies have rallied around me and lifted me up. And Maureen, you stepped in to be my media partner to help manage my YouTube channel. And you created the backbone for this show's launch. So that's where I want to start. How do you see yourself emerging to where you are today? Because we were women trying to pivot during COVID, and we met each other in this space of supportness, right? Supportiveness. And today here we are doing this. How do you see yourself having evolved here? And what did it take for you to get here so that it can be a roadmap and best practice for other women?
And again, with gratitude that we connected during and pre-COVID, and now I get to call you a dear and close friend. So absolute gratitude that I am here. The piece I would say is that what made the shift was initially an outward focus and getting out of your own way. And then as you're looking outward in the world, right? As we're here to make our stand, you're able to see others and you're able to see, and this is really, I found very, very important for my journey, is to recognize where people are on their journey and accept that. And then within being that you're meeting them where they are, and there's no judgment, there's There's no competition. It's just an outward support and a place that we are all here with our gifts and our individual gifts, and we're better together.
Beautiful. Well, I'm really interested to hear. Well, first of all, let me preface my comments by saying that in just a matter of a couple of days, when Cass said, we're going to have a show in Women Investing in Women, we're going to be co-hosts, rather, you, meaning me, you're going to be a co-host. And I'm going to get Maureen to pull this together for my YouTube channel. Within a few days, Maureen had created this amazing intro. I was so impressed with it and just did it within a few days. So I'm curious to know, tell more about what you actually do, kind of how you got in it, and then how you have able to focus that on women, and what drives you in what you do, and then drives you in your motivation toward women.
So what I'm thinking that, first of all, it's not me, it's team. And my team is when they're going forward, and this is put into production, because we do with again, that we get to take this amazing content and take the back end and produce it with SEO and all the captions and all the amazing pieces that make it really sparkle. And so the team will be watching this, but it's team. And the piece that I would say for, again, outward focus, connect, establish community. And then the other piece is that you have your gift. And when you're standing that gift, and the other piece is the others, is that a lot of times people in life still are not, particularly women, are not often asked, what do you want? And then within that, what do you want? And they get to establish who and what they are and their gift. With that being said, that it takes a team. It takes a team, and that when you're standing in your greatness, you get to recognize others stand in their greatness and allow things to come off your plate as you continue to focus on what you do best, aligning yourself with others. So it's not me, it's team.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautifully said, Maureen. So as you're explaining this, what comes to my mind is a conversation I was having with 80 teenage girls last week. And I had them close their eyes and imagine a beautiful garden. And then I asked them to describe it. And everybody described the different shapes and sizes of plants and flowers and the different times the flowers bloom. And then I had them open their eyes and look at each other so that they recognize that they are the garden, and each girl is a plant that flowers, right? So that is the image that you're conjuring up for me. You are a constant gardener. You're building this garden. You're bringing young women into the field of social media marketing so that you train them, but they also bring the modernity of how young people think and function into this. So together, there are 3 generations working together, and your team is better, your clients are served better, your friends who are your clients are super excited like me, right? Magic works. What is the secret sauce for making that happen? And how can every woman tap into it and let go of the fear that if I help you, I'm going to become less than?
The piece is that you don't do it alone. And first of all, it's not fun. So that's my first, for my staff, for absolute rules. If you're not having joy, don't do it. My staff knows it. My clients know that. And that being said, that togetherness, we are by humans, we're social beings, and that being said, that we're better together, a collective energy, and it's all energy, right? And the fabric of where we are, the universe, that we're better together. So, but that's one of the reasons why I really, really love YouTube, and is that when you look at the cross section of who's gravitating to your message, and it initially surprised me that I have a strong following that's 18 to 24, and then that 25 to 34. And how exciting is that the younger generation that's coming forward? First of all, I just always want to acknowledge them. They're more open, they're more inclusive, they're nicer than the previous generations, and they're also our future leaders. So we get to listen, we get to be open, and we get to empower them as they stand in their gift. And they'll surprise you because they'll always have something else that they're looking at, as you said in the garden, a different perspective that we'd miss if you do not include them, and you will miss. So this 3 generations, this inclusiveness, that time and age and just coming together from all different places, it's what makes life fun.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about multiple generations, because in some organizations, that is actually experienced as a negative. You know, the older managers, leaders, employees trying to figure out these, you know, millennials or Gen Z or whatever other labels that they're called, and vice versa, where the younger people, you know, looking at the older people is just, you know, old and fuddy-duddy. Whereas what you're describing is each generation is looking at the other. So how do you mesh these intergenerational differences and turn them into strengths?
Well, first of all, I don't focus on the difference. I focus on the talent. I focus on the individual who is bringing forward. I also talk at the opportunity that they get to see things I don't, because we all are bringing our own experiences. And so if you're not, now, first of all, I'm an entrepreneur, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So it's my organization, and I get to create this standard of how I stand in my leadership and evoking and supporting their leadership. So we're all leaders when in our gift. And so that's it's about leadership. It's about energy and leadership and where they are, but patience, being open, being neutral to what they're saying, and being vulnerable that you get to be wrong, you get to, you know, and having that respect on both sides. So yeah, not focusing on the difference in the age, but what everyone brings to the table.
Beautiful.
Brilliantly said, Maureen. And what comes up for me in this conversation is every generation was raised by a generation, 2 generations prior to them, right? So millennials were raised by baby boomers. Gen X's raised Gen Zs. So each generation is reacting to and embody the results of the parenting, right? So what we seem to not like about every generation is the same thing we have done in parenting of our own family. So Gen X's helicopter parenting has created some of the stigma of Gen Z's. But when we absorb them in the workplace, if we honor their talents, as you're talking, Maureen, and we truly allow them to bubble up their gift to the surface and do it their way, you're kind of counter-programming that helicoptering, and you're giving them their wings to fly because their parents have already anchored them, right? So it's almost like being a second generation or second tier parenting to fine tune. That's how I am looking at what you're talking about. And to me, that is very powerful. And this is where women investing in women, women mentoring each other. And then we get the gift of the young ones sharing their ideas and their perspective that we don't have. So how are your clients looking and benefiting from the way you lead and you allowing each of them to lead their own life? Because ultimately leadership is leading themselves.
And there's just one point there I'd like to just state is that within this, and it's talking about leadership, that when you're standing in 100% responsibility, that everything that we because we're here, that we're responsible for who and what they are. So we're also responsible for leaning in and bringing them forward as leaders. It's how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat the question then?
No worries. So as you are lifting these younger women into coming to their own, and they're doing that while serving your clients, right? How are your clients benefiting from this, and how is this showing up for the overall business that you support? Because I want folks to see the value you bring so that the traditional corporations can take a page.
Well, first of all, you guys are talking about the intro and being able to put together the artwork, the introduction, the videos, all the pieces that go in this, the color work, the branding. That's my staff, and the turnaround. They're vested because they're because they're acknowledged. They're also vested, meaning that their participation is not their piece, it's the collective. And then that turnaround is them, because they know it's for Dr. Kaz. And so, yes, do they? Okay, see, the other thing that I absolutely love that you guys get to receive is that in the work that we do, right, in leadership and talking about this, they're watching, they're listening, they're learning, they're expanding by your words. And I want you to receive that, Kaz. And they are like, I Dr. Kaz, this is what she like leaning in, and this is, and then they just run with it because they listened and hear and see you. So it's team. And that's just the small turnaround that they get to be because they're participating as well fully. And but when it comes to business, when it comes to latest trends, when it comes to what they're watching versus what I'm watching, what they're tuned into, that it's so ever evolving, what the pulse of media and social networking and social interaction, that you need a team and you need a different perspective. And yeah, you get to get out of your own way because we're not right. We're all right. And that's where that inclusive comes in. And you're missing, you will be obsolete if you do not bring forward the others that are around you from all different perspectives. And then that could be another whole conversation of what that looks like.
Exactly. Yeah, I love what you just said. I'm curious as to, and we always like to ask our guests, what are some of the challenges that you faced, both internal and external challenges that you faced in doing the work that you do and becoming who you are?
And I think that when it comes to recognizing talent and cultivating it versus having something that is pre-stamped, meaning that you have a resume and they meet all the criteria, versus you see something in someone and say, ooh, and yet it's not there on the paper itself, the resume. The piece with that is that, again, it comes back to responsibility. The responsibility lies in me to bring that out in my staff, to bring that leaving space for oneself, space for them, space for those that are around us. That's the piece. But there's nothing more rewarding than seeing others stand in their leadership as you pass the torch, or as you say, Kaz, as you shine your light. And then can you go into that quote that you're just so brilliant about shining light on others?
Oh, I talk about the importance of taking our light and sharing with the others so that our light lights up the path for everybody else. And in the process, we find each other's brilliance and we set up a runway so that every woman's dream is attainable and every woman's purpose becomes lived.
Within that too, with light, you also had said in other conversations that when you shine your light, it doesn't diminish. It actually, it lights up someone else. So it becomes exponential, and lighting someone else up is just so much more rewarding. But it does take work, because it's not the work in them, it's the leaders within us that is stretching. That is that whatever it is, the blocks, it's our blocks, again, standing in full responsibility, that we get to bring them forward. So it's challenging, but it's beyond growing who we are as we step up, as we bring others forward.
Beautiful. You know, there's talking about light, there's a phenomenon called the heliotropic effect. And it's where the tendency of living things like plants to grow toward the light. I have a picture of a plant outside my townhouse. None of the leaves are growing toward the wall. They're all growing outward. And this notion is the same in human beings, that human beings are attracted to light. We are attracted to people who manifest light. And so I always say, be light in your corner of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And just very quickly, how do you view yourself? I guess you've said it quite a bit already, but how do you view yourself as being a light to not just your team, but to other people around you?
Oh, I'm humble. I'm really humble. And I think you get to stay humble, because there's so much. We are in a place of urgency in the world, that the more light that we get to bring forward, that there's so many challenges that are out there that I don't stop and think. I see my reflection through others, and I'm just getting started. So I don't know if I answered the question, but it's funny, it's shows like this that make me have to think inward, because usually I'm interviewing others, and maybe there's a sense of control there. So I get to surrender and allow what is to be. But you know, life is, I'm a perpetual learner, and that's, it's, you know, the whole piece about, you know, lifelong learning. That's it too, that you just keep doing the work, and then the joy comes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely. If we do what we love, then the joy that is inside us is brought out in the world, and we can make it contagious. This is why you and I work so well together, Maureen, because we believe that it's not just COVID that's contagious. Joy and happiness and peace and love, they're all contagious. Why not propagate positive contagions in a world that is so focused and taken up by the negative? So as we bring this to a close, what nuggets of wisdom do you have for women who are wondering, how do I pivot in this world where everything is topsy-turvy? The economy seems unsteady. We don't know where the world is going. Generational shifts are happening. The Western developed countries are seeing massive decline in childbirth. The future of the workplace is going to be occupied by Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Everything we know is going to tectonically shift in the next 15, 20 years. And everybody is trying to figure out what is the right way to go. Having pivoted yourself and continuing to pivot, what tips, nuggets of wisdom do you have for others?
So I start out with saying outward focus. The piece is that, and I have a new book that I just decided to title, and everything else that's coming. I'm going to give myself 120 days to get it done. That's an announcement here today.
Thank you.
The piece with that is that where the strength and the solution to where we get to go is not through being divided. It is through coming together. And it's also that when we're bringing others up as we rise, it's also not by stepping down and pushing others down. It's a we. So as our energies rise, as we come together, that is where the solution is. And there's so much noise with division, with all kinds of division, male, female, wealth and non, from where we are to ethnicity to, there's just everything. But we, the team, that's the solution. And we're in urgency, that we're in such a place of polarization. The coming together is where the solution is. And that's my stand.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I love that in wrapping things up, that you show both high competence and high attunement to the human spirit, and especially the teamwork and the team around you. So I think those two things, a high competence and high, light, lightful, I'm not sure if that's a word or not, but light within your leadership.
I'm going to receive that, Robin. Oh, my goodness, coming from you. Thank you. I received that.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Maureen. So as we wrap this up, how can everybody get a hold of you, Maureen? How can they get in touch with you, get more insight from you, become your client, lean in and receive your services as they build their future? How can they get in touch with you?
You know what? Go to the YouTube channel. That's where it's all happening. That's where, and anyone that's out there that is bringing their message forward, that is taking a stand, that is looking to also move their book forward, their business forward, get out of your own way and stand with winning people. And yeah, stretch. Get in front of video. This is how people are connecting. This is how they see, know, and like you, through video. So hop to my YouTube channel. You can see all the things we're doing. You can see This work too, which I'm so proud of. And you can hop into the community page, leave me a note, but there's also, guess what? There's links on top. So you can go to my website, but go subscribe to the channel. Start getting out of your own way. It's time. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, give them your channel name, Maureen.
It's Maureen Ryan-Blake Media. Easy peasy. It's my name. Just look it up on YouTube and come through and you'll find my channel.
Okay, and I'll make sure we put that on the YouTube description when we release this. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Always a pleasure. And Robin, so good to see you. I'm loving seeing you on video. Bye, everyone.
Oh, don't run off. Hey, Robin, as we wrap up, please share your closing thoughts.
Well, just once again, I'm thrilled to be part of this, Women Investing in Women. Maureen is a great example of that. And we just look forward to every single week bringing more women who are investing in women and women who have been invested in. So we love to bring it full circle for everyone.
Thank you. Maureen and Robin, it has been such an honor and pleasure. You are all part of this journey of women investing in women. I had the idea, but I can't do it alone. So thank you for being a part of my tribe. Thank you for being an extension of me and allowing me to be an extension of you. And to me, this is truly the lived example of the light. And this is the story you wanted to tell me earlier. So it just occurred to me in my old age. I'm a little slow, like a, fluorescent light. The light just came on. So imagine, regardless of your faith, whichever faith you practice, remember when you go to church, when you go to the temple, one person lights the candle or the lamp, and then we turn and light the next person's. Every culture, every faith has it a part of the practice. But stop and think about the larger message there. When we light up another person so that they can shine and their light becomes visible, it doesn't take away from our light. Our light's power and our light's presence is magnified because we turn around and share it. And that is the message I want to end this with, because that is the message Maureen wanted me to share. So as we go out there and truly empower each other, remember, when we invest in each other, nothing diminishes in us. We just get magnified. We get amplified. And let's not allow history written by men to tell our story. That's why it's called his story. He wrote the story. Let's write her stories and help us join the movement and make a difference and tell our stories and truly bring to the forefront the quiet, sustainable power and strength of women. Thank you.
Thank you.